We are looking at live pictures from Baghdad at a moment when law enforcement in cities around the globe are on high alert. These new pictures where hundreds of thousands are gathering in a huge pro-Palestinian protest. Joining us now, CNN Senior Global Affairs Analyst Bianca Golodryga, CNN Chief Law Enforcement and Intelligence Analyst John Miller, and Israeli Special Operations veteran and law enforcement trainer Aaron Cohen. Guys, thanks for joining the table. I want to get into the kind of law enforcement elements of this in a minute. But what we were just talking about during the break, I think, is really important to discuss, which is people are scared right now. People are furious. And I'm not talking about people in the region. I'm talking about people here. You had a tweet last night, I think, that caught my eye, and I think kind of captured this to some degree about schools closing. I'm going to get it wrong. Oh, it's right on the screen. About schools closing in New York. Can you explain to people who feel like this is something that's happening far away from us? Why is this having such a dramatic effect on Americans and American Jews?
Yeah,
Why?
I debated on whether or not I would send that tweet because I never want the story to be about me. It's
And
not
I'm
about me.
And I understand. I'm not trying to make it about you.
It's just one of those situations where you have to separate your day job from just who you are as a person and the humanity and the lack of, I think, compassion a lot of people are feeling in terms of what this means for Jews around the world. What we're seeing in Israel, for years, people have sort of been conflating. Well, there's Israelis, there are Jews, and Israel is home to Jewish people, right? And there are Jewish people around the world. And when they're seeing what happened and we're not even a week following the massacre, it's hard to talk to your kids about that. And, everyone's getting letters from schools about how to address this. And in 2023 in New York City, when you get, alerts that perhaps maybe you should think about keeping your kids home and maybe you shouldn't go to synagogue, it's really troublesome. And I haven't raised it with my kids. They're at school, this particular aspect. But I just think it's an important reminder to not only check on our humanity, but also just check on your Jewish friends and neighbors, because it's been a really tough week for everyone.
That's right.
From the law enforcement perspective, we've seen the preparations. You did a great piece this morning on that. But also, this is not something that happened just now. The anti-Semitic task forces, from the federal, state, local level, this has been accelerating to match an accelerating threat and rhetoric over the course of the last several years. Where are things right now?
Well, New York is kind of unique in that regard, in that we literally live on high alert as normal in the post 9/11 world. The city went through a terrible mass murder. It went through a trauma. It went through an intelligence failure. We've seen all of that. So we put more resources in New York City into the counterterrorism and intelligence venue of the police department than any other city probably on the planet. That said, fear is fear. People are nervous. They're watching social media, frankly, to be candid. They're reacting to rumors and speculation. But we also have to remind ourselves, fear is the oxygen that makes the flames of terrorism survive. This is what they're counting on. So it comes down to this personal question for people, which is, do I actually have information that I should be worried about at a time when everybody's saying there's no specific credible threat, knowing that there's always some risk in the world? And am I going to give in to fear? When you inject, the specter of children into that, it gets even more complicated emotionally for parents. But what officials are saying is, go about your business. Be vigilant. We're doing all we can. You're part of that.
Aaron, can I turn the topic to...
Can I add to that?
Sure.
And this man has built counterterrorist programs for New York and Los Angeles. And I agree that the fear feeds the flame, and it's fine to go about your business. I'm also a reserve deputy. I live in Los Angeles. And I'll say this, why feed the bear? And what I mean by that is, you can go about your day and do your business, but regarding the synagogues, the Jewish schools, there's real action that's happening right now. And LAPD, LASD, law enforcement around the country, we don't know what actionable intelligence they have on potential sleeper cells. And I'm not trying to spark the flame. So the question is, do you have security at your school? Are they trained? Are they armed? This man knows the average response time for LAPD, for Beverly Hills, for Santa Monica Police Department. I don't know New York as well, but I know they get around pretty quickly. Are they trained in active shooter response or security? Is there a little bit of behavioral or predictive behavioral profiling training sprinkled in there? So where I come out, look at the intelligence failure of the Mossad, one of the finest institutions in the world, and then ask ourselves, if Israel didn't get it right, what should we be doing? We need to at least be layered up to some capacity. If people are yelling and screaming, let's get together and cause chaos. That's where I come up. But I'm with John on the psychological tactics being used by terror. Whoever's more scared is losing. That's how that works.
Right. The point that he's making.
I agree with all of that. And part of the story that we had on earlier in the show is the Community Security Alliance, which organizations like the UJA and ADL have literally gone out and trained personnel at synagogues, at Jewish schools, at symbolic locations, have trained teachers, have trained staff. There are layers of protection, and so many of them have security. But the watchword today, literally today, was limit your access, lock all your doors, and run one entrance and exit. Know your visitors, positive ID, check your packages and delivery. Are you expecting them? Do you recognize them? So they've kind of stepped up to the idea of, we woke up five days ago in a world that has been adjusted, and we have to adjust towards it.
And let's be crystal clear. These are protests called by Hamas. This is not, in solidarity with Palestinians. There are so many people, so many Jewish people, it doesn't even matter your background, who want freedom and dignity for Palestinians. These protests that are called for today, what we're seeing around the world is incited by Hamas. And that is what's so frustrating, is that we're not seeing more outrage in terms of differentiating the two. Hamas should not be representing the plight of the Palestinian people.
And we need to continue to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you.